One innocent post. Millions of fans panicking. And suddenly, the internet is ripping apart one of the biggest music icons on the planet over a secret she supposedly just exposed.
A secret about the most heavily guarded, highly anticipated event of the decade.
Welcome to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today we are diving into what the media is literally calling the American Royal Wedding.
Right. We're talking about July 3rd, 2026, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden. Let that sink in for a second.
It's completely unbelievable. Our mission today is to unpack this massive $20 million cultural gravity well. We want to look at the sheer scale of it, the intense public and political backlash, and of course the title of today's deep dive, what Gwen Stefani accidentally exposed about this entire spectacle.
Because that Gwen Stefani drama, it is wild. And we've got a huge stack of sources for this, by the way.
Yeah, we're pulling from entertainment reports from Us Weekly, Variety, TMZ, some really good country music coverage from Taste of Country, a great interview snippet from Access Hollywood, and honestly, the already massive Wikipedia page that is just documenting the pure logistics of this day.
The logistics are staggering. Before we even get to the internet drama and what Gwen supposedly did, you have to understand the magnitude of what actually happened inside that venue. Because, otherwise the public's reaction doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. So let's rewind a bit. Let's start with the origin point. August 2025.
Right, the engagement.
Yeah. Ed Kelce, Travis's dad, reveals that the engagement happened in this garden in Lee's Summit, Missouri.
Which is so grounded.
Very grounded, very Midwest, very intimate, right? Just family and close friends. But then, fast forward to July 3rd, 2026.
And they are taking over Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden, in the middle of Manhattan. I mean, at what point does a wedding stop being a wedding and start being like a highly produced music festival?
Honestly, that's exactly what it was. MSG holds roughly 20,000 people. Now, they didn't have 20,000 guests, obviously, but they had about 1,000.
1,000 guests is still an insane number for a wedding.
It is. But I think, the people were baffled by the venue choice. Because usually, if you have unlimited money and you want privacy, what do?
You buy out a private island in the Maldives. Or a villa in Lake Como.
Exactly. You go somewhere secluded.
Yeah.
But renting out an iconic public arena in the loudest, busiest city in the world, it feels like the opposite of privacy.
It really does. Like, Penn Station is literally underneath the building. You have commuters catching the train right beneath the altar.
Right. But here's the brilliant part of that strategy. A private island is secluded, sure, but it's actually really vulnerable.
Vulnerable to what? Paparazzi.
Paparazzi on boats with massive telephoto lenses or, drones flying over the beach. MSG, on the other hand, is a concrete bunker.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that.
It wasn't about capacity. It was about creating an impenetrable fortress. The strict non-disclosure agreements, the NDAs, they were intense. And they had an absolute ironclad no-phone policy.
Okay, wait, I want to unpack this. Because how do you enforce a no-phone policy on 1,000 of the most famous people on Earth? Like billionaires, politicians, influencers, you're just taking their phones.
They literally took their phones. The sources confirm they use those magnetic yonder pouches.
Yeah.
So you walk in, your phone goes in the pouch, it locks, and you don't get it back until you leave the building.
That is so wild. But what about the NDAs? If I'm like a mega famous actor, am I really scared of being sued by Taylor Swift over a blurry photo of a wedding cake?
Well, see, it's not the legal threat that scares them. It's the social threat.
What do you mean?
If you are the person who leaks a photo from that wedding, you are instantly blacklisted from the most powerful social circles in Hollywood. You are exiled. The social ruin is way more terrifying than any financial penalty.
That makes total sense. So it's a complete media blackout.
A total vacuum. And it wasn't just the day of the wedding. The night before, July 2nd, they had a rehearsal dinner for about 100 people at the Indus Theater, which is also inside MSG.
Oh, right. I read about this. Didn't they turn out, like, crazy gifts?
Diamond-encrusted keepsakes for a rehearsal dinner.
Just casual diamonds for your Friday night? Unbelievable.
And the ceremony itself was officiated by Adam Sandler.
Which is amazing.
Taylor wore a custom Christian Dior wedding dress. And the musical performers.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney, Stevie Nicks, Avril Lavigne, and Ice Spice.
Wait, Ice Spice and Paul McCartney on the same bill?
Yes, at a private wedding.
That is literally a Grammy-level production.
Exactly. But with one massive difference. There was no broadcast, No cameras, no live stream, no red carpet interviews.
And that right there is the catalyst for everything that went wrong online. Because the public knows this huge thing is happening, but they can't see it.
Right. They are starved for visuals.
And when you starve the internet of content, they go feral. They start hunting for their own clues. Which is exactly how we get to the core of today's story. How Gwen Stefani accidentally walked into a massive digital crossfire. But wait till you hear how a single outfit caused a complete internet meltdown. We'll get into that right now.
So because of this total information vacuum, fans turn into these obsessive amateur detectives.
Oh, totally. They are analyzing every single celebrity's Instagram feed, looking for breadcrumbs. Who's in New York? Who's wearing a tuxedo on a random Friday?
It was a global scavenger hunt. And right in the middle of this absolute frenzy, on the day of the wedding, July 3rd, Gwen Stefani posts an Instagram reel.
Set to her 2004 hit, Luxurious.
Great song. But it's the visuals that set everyone off. She's wearing this gorgeous, dusty pink floral Yara Shoemaker dress, frilly high-neck collar, absolutely stunning. Blake Shelton is standing next to her in a very crisp suit and a bow tie.
And they look amazing. But the crucial detail is the background. The fans start zooming in on the windows behind them, and they recognize the architecture. They're like, those are New York City buildings. They're in Manhattan.
Right. The math seemed to add up perfectly. The biggest wedding of the year is happening in New York, and here are two massive music stars dressed to the nines in New York posting a glamorous getting ready video.
But the video just shows them getting into a car, and then it ends. It doesn't show where they went.
Which, if you think about it, heavily fuels the rumors that they were heading to MSG. Because if you're going to a wedding with a strict no-phone policy, you have to take your outfit pics in the hotel room before you leave.
Exactly. It's just standard modern celebrity behavior. Establish your look, post it, then go off the grid.
But the internet did not see it that way. The fans completely turned on Gwen.
It was so aggressive. They started accusing her of trying to steal Taylor's thunder. Like she was deliberately trying to hijack the news cycle by posting this mysterious, high-profile date night content on Taylor's big day.
Which is just, it's fascinating, honestly. Because what we're looking at here is the parasocial enforcement of a celebrity hierarchy.
Wait, parasocial enforcement? Break that down for me. You mean like fans acting as unpaid security guards for a friendship they aren't even involved in?
That is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
The internet decided that Taylor Swift somehow owned July 3rd. And therefore, no other celebrity was allowed to be glamorous or celebrate anything or post anything that might distract from the MSG wedding.
Which is wild. It's like they are enforcing these crazy rules that the celebrities themselves never agreed to.
Right. And the wildest part is the plot twist that other fans eventually pointed out.
Oh my gosh, yes. The calendar police completely missed the reality of Gwen and Blake's own life timeline. Because Gwen and Blake were actually married on July 3rd, 2021.
It was literally their 5th wedding anniversary.
They were literally just going out to a nice anniversary dinner. It had nothing to do with MSG. It wasn't some calculated PR stunt to upstage anyone.
But the internet had already manufactured this massive rivalry, completely ignoring the fact that Gwen and Taylor actually have a really deep, documented mutual respect.
Yeah, if you look at the Access Hollywood source we pulled, Gwen has gushed over Taylor in the past, like heavily praised her.
They worked together on The Voice, right?
Yeah, they worked closely together. Gwen has talked about how much she respects Taylor's songwriting, her live performances, and she even mentioned how much she listens to the Folklore album.
So there is absolutely no bad blood there. But the fandom, because they were operating in that dark information vacuum, they needed a narrative. They needed a villain trying to upstage the bride.
And Gwen just happened to be wearing a pink dress in New York on the wrong day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, you know, she wasn't the only one catching heat that weekend.
No, not at all. If you're loving these Hollywood twists, by the way, make sure you're subscribed because we've got even crazier stories ahead. And this next part is where the silence from the wedding really starts to backfire.
Because Taylor and Travis are in their fortress saying nothing, the actual guests are the ones getting attacked online. And they are forced to break their silence to defend the event.
Yeah, it's like imagine going to a beautiful wedding and waking up the next day to realize you have to manage a global PR crisis for a party you didn't even throw.
Right. So who was speaking out?
Well, Joseph Kahn, the famous director who's done a ton of Taylor's music videos, he had to take to X, formerly Twitter, to literally tell people to calm down.
What were they saying to him?
People were arguing about seating arrangements, rumors were flying about who got the best seats. Khan had to publicly state that there was a strict no VIP seating policy and told people they needed to check their egos.
Wow.
But worse than that, he had to debunk this massive flood of fake AI-generated images of the venue that were tricking fans everywhere.
Oh, the AI images, that was terrifying. Because again, when real images are banned, the social media algorithms will just reward the most convincing fakes.
Exactly. Khan was out there telling people, no, that glowing neon floral altar is not real. You cannot comprehend what MSG actually looked like.
And then you had Tavia Hunt, right? The wife of the Kansas City Chiefs owner, Clark Hunt.
Yes. She had to go on Instagram to debunk these crazy rumors that the reception was a disaster.
What were the rumors?
People were saying there were massive lines for the bathrooms and that the venue literally ran out of champagne. Tavia had to publicly shut that down and call it a false narrative.
Which is so absurd. The wife of an NFL team owner is doing crisis management about beverage supplies.
It's hilarious, honestly. And then Simone Biles gets dragged into it.
Oh, the Simone Biles clapback was legendary.
She posted a photo of her and her husband, Jonathan Owens, heading to the wedding. And this random commenter aggressively questions why she was even invited, like implying she wasn't on Taylor's level or something.
And how did she respond?
She just said, I only show y'all what I want y'all to know.
Iconic.
So good. Because her friendship with Taylor actually dates all the way back to the 2016 Olympics.
But the fact that Simone Biles, an Olympic legend, has to defend her friendship, resumed to an anonymous Instagram troll. It perfectly illustrates the insane entitlement of the modern audience.
You know what this entire dynamic reminds me of?
What?
A historical royal court.
Oh, that's an interesting comparison.
Think about it. The monarchs, Taylor and Travis, they stay silent inside the castle. They do not respond to the peasant rumors. But their loyal nobles, the celebrity guests, they are forced to go out into the village square and fight the peasants in the comment sections to defend the crown.
That is a perfect analogy. And taking that a step further, the nobles aren't just defending the monarchs. They are protecting their own social standing.
Right. Because if the public decides the wedding was a tacky disaster, then being associated with it suddenly loses its social value.
Exactly. Social media has completely rewritten public relations. When the main subjects refuse to release a statement, their guests become human shields. They become the de facto PR arm of the event.
It sounds so exhausting, but later in the episode, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming regarding the actual cost of this event. Because while the guests were busy defending the champagne supply, the rest of the world started looking at the real-world consequences of this spectacle.
The broader cultural commentators.
Right. Local citizens, politicians, union workers. Because renting out MSG isn't just about occupying a room. You are fundamentally disrupting the grid of New York City.
The logistics and the ethical footprint became a huge talking point. The event reportedly cost over $20 million.
$20 million.
But the part that really got people fired up was the cost of the public sector. Taylor and Travis paid New York City $160,000 for a special event permit.
Which included police overtime.
Yes, and that's where the tension started. NYPD officers actually leaked complaints to the press about working these grueling 24 to 30-hour straight shifts in extreme July heat just to guard a private billionaire party.
30-hour shifts in July in Manhattan. That is brutal. And this is where the political backlash really kicks in, because this sheer scale triggered intense debates across the entire political spectrum.
And we should be super clear here for the listener. We are remaining entirely neutral on this. We're just reporting what the sources documented about the cultural reactions. We aren't endorsing any side.
Exactly. Completely impartial. But looking at the sources, on the left, you had political commentators like Hassan Piker who went after the event hard. He called it a, quote, dramatic misuse of public resources. He essentially argued that the entire spectacle was incredibly tacky given the state of the world.
The scrutiny was intense. And it didn't just stop at the public resources. Fans started digging into the guest list and found some major controversies.
Yeah, the Stephen J. Demetrius situation.
Right. So he is a businessman who adopted one of Travis Kelce's longtime friends. He was at the wedding. But fans discovered that his company is a government contractor with ties to ICE detention centers.
And for a massive segment of their fan base, that was a huge problem. Having a guest with ICE connections at this wedding clashed directly with Taylor and Travis's publicly known Democratic affiliations. It became this massive ethical debate online.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the political aisle, Donald Trump was actually asked about the engagement, during an interview at the White House.
Wait, really? The White House?
Yes, and he just wished the couple, quote, a lot of luck.
It's just wild that a wedding-generated commentary from Twitch streamers, union police officers, and a former president. It completely permeated every single sector of American society.
But there is a really fascinating contrast that we need to mention, which the source has also highlighted.
The charity donation.
Yes. Ahead of the wedding, Taylor and Travis reportedly donated $26 million to charity.
$26 million. That is a staggering amount of money. It's actually more than the reported cost of the wedding itself.
It is incredibly generous.
Yeah.
And it's an undeniable positive. But it brings up this really crucial insight about how we perceive extreme wealth today.
How so?
Well, the ultimate flex of modern billionaire status used to be, buying a private island, disappearing from society. But now, the ultimate flex is the power to privatize the ultimate public space.
Oh, wow. Privatizing the public square.
Yes. When people see a $20 million private event that requires 30-hour police shifts in the summer heat, it hits a societal nerve. The $26 million donation is amazing, but it doesn't erase the visual reality of billionaires effectively renting a piece of a city's law enforcement and infrastructure for their personal use.
It really forces you to ask, who gets to disrupt the public square? And at what price?
Exactly. It is the absolute peak of friction between a private celebration and public disruption.
So, tying this all together for you listening, why does any of this matter? Why should you care about the logistical nightmare of a billionaire's wedding? Or what dress Gwen Stefani wore to dinner?
Because this entire event is the ultimate case study in how modern celebrity actually operates. It completely pulls back the curtain on the machinery of fame.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next, because we are going to keep tracking stories just like this. But if you think about it, the actual marriage, the vows, the human connection between two people that part remains completely private.
Right. We still don't know what they said to each other.
Exactly. But the spectacle surrounding it, that belongs to the public. It is heavily policed by exhausted city workers. It's aggressively consumed by fans who are just starving for content. And it is endlessly debated by everyone from Hassan Piker to Instagram trolls.
The gravity of mega fame just bends reality around it.
It bends the NYPD's schedules. It warps the internet's interpretation of a simple anniversary dinner for Gwen and Blake, and it forces friends like Simone Biles to become digital bodyguards.
The spectacle detaches from the people at the center of it and literally becomes its own living, breathing entity.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to mull over today. Think about this. If a personal milestone, a day, that is meant to celebrate love and human connection now requires city permits, massive NDAs, police overtime, and an army of guests fighting off AI-generated photo fakes on social media.
It's a lot.
At what point does a private wedding stop being a human celebration and start being just another piece of corporate intellectual property?
It's a profound shift. It really makes you wonder if keeping a complete secret is the only way to keep a moment authentic anymore.
It really makes you appreciate the appeal of that quiet, blurry paparazzi shot on a secluded beach, doesn't it? Suddenly, a secret getaway doesn't seem like a luxury preference. It feels like a survival tactic.
It really does.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.